Well, good evening, Freedom High School football players and parents, and welcome. I've had some great teachers along the course of my professional career, and they've given me some great advice. I'm going to share some of that advice, and I'm going to put it in the form of 5 key points throughout this talk. The key points are as follows. I want you all to set individual goals. I want you to listen or watch something every single day that inspires you. I want you to give selflessly, and I'll tell you what that means in this talk. I want you to take advantage of your time in high school, and probably one of the most important ones, I want you to respect women. Remember when I spoke to you all before you had that big win? Remember that? I didn't motivate you, nor will I take credit for motivating you. There's a difference between motivation and inspiration. Nobody can motivate you to do anything, but somebody can inspire you to do everything. I think anyone who thinks they can motivate another human being has the IQ of a houseplant. What I will take credit for is inspiring you. I said just the right thing in just the right tone at just the right time to wake something up inside of you. So you get credit for the win. You already had it in you. Now, once you learn that principle, I wouldn't be breaking your arm, patting yourselves on the back every time you win. What I would suggest is that you give the glory of that win to God. I would suggest that you give the glory of that win to God for putting the right people in front of you, like these coaches. I also told you in that team meeting that your team was like a company, and you're all part owners of that company. You all own the same amount of that company, but your investment isn't money. Your investment is blood, sweat, and tears. Take it from me and every other business owner out there. It's hard work. It's really hard work to run a business. It doesn't come easy. Your coaches are the CEOs, but each of you has a title. The second you step foot on that field, at spring practice, you're open for business. Do you think your business will be successful if you bicker and get mad at each other, or will it work better if you lift one another up? Sometimes you can't lift another person up. Well, let coach handle that. That's not your job, that's their job. I was at almost every game last season. What I noticed in your games is that when you hit that point of adversity, or kind of a challenge, if you don't know that word, your minds went haywire. You lost your cool. Your teammate fumbled the ball, your interception was thrown, a tackle missed. Let me tell you something. A person's true character will come out during times of adversity, not when you're winning. Now, I'm not saying don't get mad. I'm not saying don't get angry. I'm not saying don't get fired up. That's part of football. What I am saying is control your thoughts. If you can learn how to deal with adversity on the football team, it will carry over to real life, and the results you make will give you, the results will be better decisions in life. I learned adversity personally when I spoke at FIFA in Zurich, Switzerland. I took Tyler with me. I took my son with me. You can imagine my shock and surprise when somewhere between New York, Italy, and Switzerland, our bags were lost. Can you imagine that? The most important speech of my life, to speak at FIFA, at the world headquarters, and I have no suit, no tie, no dress shoes. I had pretty much everything for my speech in that luggage. So let's make a comparison. Let's look at football. So somebody fumbles the ball or loses the ball, just like I lost my luggage. What are you going to do? Are you going to come unraveled, or are you going to take control of the situation? That's how winners do it. What I did is I said, I'm going to run down to the store, buy jeans, buy shoes, buy a shirt, do the best I can. Keep it together here, but do the best I can. And I thought, if anything, they'll sure remember who I am. I'll be the only ones in jeans, so certainly, people will remember me. Well, lucky for us, about 30 hours later, but before my speech, the bags were returned to the hotel. So I ended up doing this. The speech went great. But could you imagine what would have happened if my mind, there's so many future, I've already been asked to speak at FIFA again, but so many opportunities would have been missed if I wasn't there and I didn't control my thoughts. I want you to all set individual goals. Set a goal that scares you a lot. Set a goal that takes your breath away. An individual goal is not 11-0 season. That's a team goal. An individual goal is to make straight A's. Now, how many people just got scared when I say make straight A's? Did it take the breath out of you? Yes. So that's a goal. Now, don't confuse a goal for a task. Anytime somebody tells me that they achieve all their goals, you know what I do? Inside, I laugh. Because they're not setting goals. What they're doing is they're making a to-do list, and they're dressing it up and calling it a goal. So inspiration. Find somebody who inspires you, somebody who brings out the best in you, somebody who wakes up that hidden energy inside of you. That's what will lead to wins. That someone might be a coach, it might be a YouTube video, it might be an audio file on iTunes. Look to people who give of themselves selflessly, not selfishly, to help other people. Currently, I've been listening to Tony Robbins and ex-Tennessee football player Inky Johnson. If you haven't seen any of these people, Inky, I-N-K-Y, please look them up on YouTube. They're really, really inspirational people, and they give selflessly. If you give with the expectation of getting something in return, you're not giving, you're loaning. Sometimes selfish people claim to give, but they're really loaning, and they're expecting not only what they put in, but interest. They want what they got put in, but they want more, and that's not giving. So when your parents ask you to do something and you stomp your foot, you're not giving. You're loaning if you do that for them. So try to give to everybody, including your parents. So speaking of parents, during that talk, I had, in that pregame talk, I had Coach come over, and I said, Coach, stretch your arms out. You stretch your arms out? I had him do that. Do you remember this varsity football team? And I said, this represents the rest of your life, from here to here, from fingertip to fingertip, right? And this area right here, that little sliver, represents the time you have left in high school. What we didn't talk about was how that little sliver affects your parents. See, all the time you have with your parents is that little sliver. And you have to take advantage of that, because it means trust me when I say this, you're more special to your parents than you'll ever imagine, and you need to take advantage of that time. So please, please, sit down, have a meal with your parents, talk to them. If you can't have dinner because they work, have breakfast. If you can't have breakfast, have lunch. If you can't have lunch, sit on the couch and talk to them. Get to know your parents. They have more knowledge than you can ever give them credit for. That knowledge is life experience. Take advantage of your time in high school by being yourself. Once again, I learned this firsthand when I was at FIFA. During this speech, after the speech was over, we had to go sit down to a speaker's luncheon. Now, I look around, and there's Olympic athletes, there's CEOs of huge corporations, there's the soccer star, European Parliament members. And as we sat down, the person sat next to me was Brian Roy, the European soccer star for Ajax, or pronounced, as some people who aren't soccer enthusiasts, Ajax. He was a huge star. Next to me was Tyler, and I happened to glance over to see who was sitting next to Tyler, and it happened to be the immediate former Prime Minister of Slovenia. Can you imagine? The Prime Minister, if you don't know what a Prime Minister is, it's like the President of the United States. It's the leader of a country. So sitting next to my son is the leader of a country. Now my mind is going haywire. As Brian Roy is talking, I'm thinking to myself, did Tyler take his economics class? Did he study in economics? Surely he took his civics classes. And I'm thinking to myself, well, we didn't go over what to say if you sit next to a prime minister. So as he's eating, and my mind's, I'm halfway listening to Brian Roy in his conversation, and I see Ty swallow his food, take a breath, inhale as if somebody's ready to do before they say something really intelligent, looks over at the prime minister and he says, "This is pretty good chicken." And my heart stopped. And I thought, I have to steer this conversation in the right direction. I have to do something. I have to take over. But then something amazing happened. The Prime Minister responded with, "This chicken is delicious. It goes so well with the carrots and the rice." And he says, "So tell me, young man," this is a Prime Minister, "so tell me, young man, what's your name? What are your hobbies? What do you like to do?" And then all of a sudden, they start this very pure conversation. They learn about each other's customs. And I'm feeling bad because I was totally checked out of my conversation. And what I learned from that is that you have to let the true you shine through. That's how people will get to know you. I'm going to close with this. People will look up to you, Freedom High School football team. Next year, I'm confident you'll have a winning season with Coach Graham, Coach Short, Coach Hansel, Coach Snow, and Coach Gross. They've turned around multiple programs in the past. It will not end with you. And when you do begin winning, people will look up to you. You need to set good examples, not bad ones. Set the standard. Listen to me. Now, as I just told you, I was checked out of that conversation with Brian Roy. If you've been checked out of my conversation, listen to me for this. Is everybody focused? Treat women with respect. Show the ladies you go to high school with a good reference point of what a real man is. Set the bar high. Hold the door for your mom. Hold the door for your grandmother, your female classmates. And don't ever lay a hand on a woman during an episode of anger. You do that, and I'll pay with my own money to have you prosecuted. If you're having anger management issues, talk to coach, talk to a counselor, talk to your parents, heck, talk to me. Some of you have been to my house. Some of you players have been to my house, and you know how I treat you the same way as I treat my own kids. The color of your skin makes no difference. When you're with me and my family, you're part of my family. I can't wait to see you all come together next year as a team. Work hard, get good grades. Treat your team like it's a corporation. Bring out the best in yourselves as well as your teammates, and regardless of your wins and losses, you'll prepare yourselves to be very successful in life. Thank you.